Welcome to the Vibeys channel on the internet. Today I'm going to tell you guys how to keep your approval rating as high as possible while you are the president or prime minister or whatever you are in BitLife. So as you can see, Drip Johnson here is 39 years old, 55% approval rating, first term as president, first year as well. And the first thing you want to do to keep your approval rating as high as possible is go to agenda and make sure you just put everything up a little bit. Like 7 hours each is probably a decent idea, at least for the ones that matter. Like golf, definitely keep that at 0. You don't want to put that up. This is pretty obvious, and I have mine at around 61 hours. You guys can play with this. It depends on what you're lacking on currently. Like right now, we're lacking on foreign policy, national security, so I might want to up those a little bit. But the main thing you want to do is make sure everything's at least 5, 6, 7 hours to get at least 61 hours in total or around that. You could go higher, but then you risk high blood pressure and stuff like that. As you can see, our schedule stress is pretty high, but then again, like you're the president, it's supposed to be like high stress. You're supposed to be working 60, 70, 80-hour work weeks as the president. If you're not, then you're probably not a good president. Anyways, to help with this, you definitely want to go on mind and body diet and make sure you're on the Mediterranean diet. It's the best diet in the game. And also every year you just want to make sure that you do an energetic or jovial, maniacal. Honestly, most of these work. Just the main thing is the budget. You always want to max out the budget every time, $500,000. So you're gonna have to be super rich in this game to keep your approval rating as high as possible. As you can see at the bottom, we're at 60% right now. You guys can also do some speeches, alleviate public fears, or spread awareness. These two right here, scaring the public and bragging about accomplishments, those do not help. They actually lower your approval rating. These speeches help a little bit, not as much as rallies though, from what I know, but they do help a little bit. As you can see at the bottom, we just went up to 62%. So that is pretty much all you can do in 1 year. You can also do a law review, but those don't really do anything. You guys can check the headlines as well. Doesn't really do anything though. But another huge thing to make sure your approval rating stays high is that when you age up, you want to make sure you answer these politics scenarios the best you can, besides the laws, because the laws don't do anything to my knowledge. Like this one says, release all non-violent prisoners who say they're super sorry. Obviously, I would veto that in real life, but if you look closely at the bottom, the approval rating should stay the same because this is kind of silly, and I don't think that the law scenarios actually affect your approval rating. So let's click that, and it stayed at 65%. But here we go. We have rough real estate. I think this is a real scenario that affects it. So recent reports are indicating that the rate of homelessness in your nation is on the rise. So as stated in my previous video on how to become president, BitLife leans to Democrat policies. So the best answer for this one is definitely not nothing. That is actually universal. Doing nothing is just a bad idea. But out of the 3 different answers here, I think that creating more low-income housing is probably what BitLife would prefer the most. So let's just see. Let's look at the bottom. It's at 65% now. Let's click it, and it went up to 69%. So that was the correct answer for that scenario. And now in year 2, we just want to repeat the same exact stuff that we did last year. So we can check the approval ratings again. Environment is doing pretty good. So you might want to put down environment just a little bit and then put up foreign policy because I was sucking at that. As long as you're on that Mediterranean diet, I think you should be fine. Also, if you're not too old, like if you're in your 70s or 80s or 90s as the president, this will probably kill you working that much. Anyways, let's get on with the rally. Make sure we are at the maxed out budget. Let's go with mild. Maxed out support right there, 74% approval rating. We can do 1 speech. Let's try to alleviate public fears. Let's do medium. Doesn't really matter. Good reception. Enticing intern. While working alone at your desk late one evening, you look up to discover a female intern has entered your office. Blah, blah, blah. She wants to help relieve your stress. This is completely unprofessional, so I think the only correct answer here is terminate her internship immediately, but let's check down at the bottom. We are at 83%. I hope you guys can see that well, but let's click that button and see what we end up at. 84% approval rating. So it didn't move much, but it did go up a little bit. And here's another scenario. You're about to go on stage to deliver an important speech on healthcare when your internal security team informs you that they just received a credible death threat in the mail. I've never been killed by this scenario before, so none of these answers really matter that much. But let's try do the speech with additional security, and it went up to 86%. So that was the correct answer there. And as you can see, after adjusting my agenda the first few years, everything is in the green. So we're good to go. Let's just do another rally this year, subdued. Doesn't matter, just max out the budget. Let's do another speech, spread awareness. We're still at 86%. That's fine though. Let's just age up. Illegalize the assignment of homework. I kind of want to pass that, to be honest, but I'm gonna veto that. Anyways, here is Buff Invaders. You've just received a report from the Director of National Defense asserting an immediate threat of alien invasion by little green creatures wearing short shorts and muscle tees. That's silly. That is just ridiculous. To be completely honest, I have no clue what the correct answer on this one is, so I'm just gonna try firing the Director of National Defense. Also, a quick tip after the fact of making this video, I just want to say if there is a question like this that you don't know the answer to, you can just back out the app and then come back in, and then you could get an easier question. Anyways, back to the video. And that was actually not the correct answer. We went from 90% approval down to 84%, so it went down 6 points. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but again, this is BitLife. Not a lot of things make sense in this game. And after doing a speech, we are back up to 90% anyway, so it's perfectly fine. And in our first term, we got 93% approval rating. So in today's United States, the most you can get approval rating wise is around 50%. So 93% literally just guarantees your re-election. So let's just run for re-election real quick. Let's go maxed out budget. We can focus on whichever one of these issues that we want. This is one of those scenarios that doesn't really matter. Let's just say social issues. Here's another scenario. Various media companies are coming at you with offers to be featured in their magazine. You recognize this is a prime opportunity to get your face in front of the public and decide to accept one of the offers. To be completely honest, National Geographic, Time, and Playboy are definitely Democrat leaning. I've never heard of Good Housekeeping, and Playboy is not appropriate, I don't think. So let's just say Time. And we just won with 49% of the votes, which kind of makes no sense at all considering we had a 93% approval rating in this game. I think that's something that they should update within the game, making the approval ratings a bit more realistic, because how are you going to get 93% approval rating and then only not even 50% of the people vote for you? Even the most biased of polls aren't that biased, you know? Anyways, guys, 1 year into our second term, we are now at 99%. Let's just age up one more year. Military aid, a high-ranking official from Croatia informs you that his country would like to build an overseas military base on your soil. So this is going to be the last tip of the video, and I just want to show you guys that you can reverse what happens with some of these scenarios. So let's just say sounds great. As you can see, our approval rating went from 99% down to 63%. So if something bad like that happens and you pick the wrong answer, you can just back out the app, come right back in, and our approval rating is back at 99% and we can try again. Also, if you want to make sure that you have the chance to reset the app and come back in, because sometimes when you age and answer the scenario, it automatically saves and you can't back out the app, you guys can just come in here to buy a whole bunch of vehicles. Let's just buy a bunch with cash, preferably a whole bunch of used cars, and you guys will see why in just a second. But anyways, if you have a whole lot of bad condition vehicles, you will get this message every year. So this guarantees that there will be another message after your political scenarios. So if you mess up, you can just back out the app and come back in, and that pretty much guarantees your approval rating to be above 80 to 90% every year. But anyways, that's gonna be it for today. Remember, I could be anyone. I love you guys so much. Peace out.